Carnival Cruise Lines. And today I'll be running you through the basic essential items on how to make a booking with Polar and a few little tips and tricks about it in particular. Particularly if you're relatively new to the business and this is your first attempt at using Polar, it is a very, very easy system to use. And the great thing about it is used across 4 of the world's leading cruise lines brands, so that being P&O, Princess, Carnival, and Holland America. So I'm going to run you through it today. There's a few ways to get into it, but I'm going to show you particularly how to get to it from the Carnival page. Okay, so all you have to do is go to the website www.goccl.com.au. That's gocarnivalcruiselines.com.au. That's what it stands for. And you'll see on my screen what it's brought up. It's brought up our home page. On this particular screen here, you'll see a little login where it says Polar. So it'll give you a little section right there. It's very, very easy to access. Just click on the login button. Now, if you haven't managed to get any logins just yet, you can contact our help desk. Okay, all the details are on the website to be able to get there. But it's very, very easy. You just sign in. So putting my password, my username and password in, for example. Okay, once you're in, you can see it'll bring into the main booking screen of Polar. Alrighty. So what you'll find here is you'll find that the first thing it asks you to do, there's a couple of, just to walk you through it, it'll give you a list of your cruise lines. Okay, it'll then under here, it'll give you a create a booking, manage a booking. So create a bookings where you start a booking, manage a bookings where you can find your existing bookings if you are looking for those. Under here, there's a create and manage group section too, and this is tutorial 2, which you'll find online on my YouTube channel about how to create group bookings and the benefits of groups. I won't cover that today. I'll just cover the basic fundamentals of making Polar bookings. Up here, you've got our main menu. You've also got a help section and, of course, an exit to exit out of the system. So it's very important when you're first making your selection is actually to pick which cruise line you are looking at quoting. It defaults to the top menu. So for us, for example, you want to go down to the bottom where it says Carnival Cruise Lines. Once you click on that, the page should refresh. Okay, so once the page refreshes, you then know you're in Carnival. If you do try to make a booking in one of the other systems, of course, you won't be able to find the particular cruise you're looking for. That's issue number 1 when problem solving. Okay, so if we click on create a booking, it opens up the next window, which you'll find here. Okay, there's 2 sections within this menu. The first one is passenger member number. Okay, so it's always very important when asking your customer if they've ever cruised before. Now, that might be with any of the cruise lines. Ask them the question. Everybody who cruises gets a unique cruising number or member number. If they do know it, you can put it in there and it'll retrieve their details. Alternatively, you can also search for their mobile phone number as well, or their landline. It's always pays to ask them if they have cruised before, because a lot of times if they have, they trigger certain benefits on board they get, particularly across all the cruise lines as well. So just make sure you ask them if they've got that. If they've never cruised before, move on, of course, we can set their profile up at the end. Okay, so then we come down to our cruise search, and I find this the most popular one to use. Reason being, it's a bit of an easy search to do. So first of all, you just got to fill in the sections that are red. They're the important ones, the highlighted ones. As the first thing is home city. Now, whether you're cruising on Carnival, which cruises out of Sydney, or whether you're cruising to home port, ships out of Brisbane, you can put your code where you're leaving from. That's the most important. You have your air section as well. We do sell cruise air, so you don't have to make the selection here. You can go down the path and actually select cruise air as well, which is a great benefit. Okay, the next thing is voyage number. Now, voyage number, every cruise line on any particular date throughout the year will have a particular voyage number. Now, that'll be significant just for that particular sailing. So if you do know that one, for example, if you're looking at the back of the brochure and you want to find and you want to narrow it down, you can put the voyage number in. I'll just, you can see right there. So I'll just see if we've got it open. You can open up your brochure and, like I said, it'll tell you there. Otherwise, if you're not sure and you think, it's around about May sometime, what you can do is you can put in a date. Okay, so we can put in 15 May, for example. 15 May, and then you've got to put in the year that it's sailing to. So if it is next year, 2016, vice versa. You then got the ship drop-down menu. You can leave that alone too. We'll show you all the options. The same with the stateroom type. Okay, if if you just leave it as mini suite, we will give you the options of all the rooms anyway, so you don't have to narrow it down. Makes it a bit easier. Finally, the occupancy. So you can change the occupancy down from 1 down to 4, depending on how many people you wish to put in the cabin. Okay, so we'll leave it at 2 for this argument's sake. Duration and nights, that's fine. We can just go to hit the search button. So once we hit the search button on that parameter, you'll see there it gives us a couple of dates either side of the date that we asked for. So if your customer is quite flexible and they're looking at particular dates, they can see we've got from the 21st of April through to the 19th of May, 8-night to 11-night itineraries. So this particular screen right here will give you a nice little snapshot of how the sailings are looking. Again, as I mentioned, it'll give you where it's going. It'll give you the duration of the cruise. You also got the voyage itinerary, which I'll show you in a sec. It'll tell you about your options, your dining options, what's available, your voyage number as well. So as I mentioned before, that was the voyage number, and your routing as well, so where it goes from. So if it's an international cruise, it'll go from, say, Sydney to Singapore, for example. But most of these ones are Sydney to Sydney. Under here, this is a really good little search parameter search too. So this gives you a snapshot of the sailing, and it shows you how full it is basically. So if you are looking for high stress level sailings like Christmas, for example, or school holiday sailings and things like that, you can open this up and you can have a quick look and see what's actually available. So the W stands for waitlist. That means the room's waitlisted, and the C stands for closed. That means it's a closed cruise. You can't get anyone in that particular sailing and that particular cabin. And then finally, you've got your G, which your G generally represents like your pack and go fares, your last-minute guaranteed fares it stands for. Now, there is quite a bit of availability on here. You'll notice that these codes, they might look a bit weird at the moment, 884 and 74 and all that. They actually, if you open up your brochure deck plan, they do correlate with the deck plan that's in the brochure. So you can see, if you're looking for a 74, you can notice that's the 74 category here. Now, the reason why there's a lot of wait lists at the moment, the wait lists are all on this says 84.4, which is a quad room. Okay, and because we haven't asked for a quad room, we've asked for twin, it's giving us a wait list on these particular categories as well. Okay, if we go back to the top there as well, you'll see a voyage itinerary. Voyage itinerary is great. If you click on that one there for the 19th of May, for example, it'll give you the exact voyage itinerary. So what dates it'll be in particular ports. So this is great if you've got someone who's celebrating a particular milestone, a birthday, or maybe a wedding anniversary or some kind of event. You can see there where they're going to be on the particular day of their birthday, what time it arrives, what time it departs. You can have a bit of and whether it's a tender or whether it's, if it doesn't have tender, it means you can just walk on and off the ship. A tender port basically means you get off the bigger ship onto a small little boat, which then takes you ashore because they're small little destinations that you're heading into. Okay. It'll also give you down here your formal and your casual nights as well. So it'll give you 2 formal nights and 6 casual nights. So it'll tell you what's happening on that particular cruise. So within Polar, whenever we're working in the window, we always work within the actual window. So we don't hit the back button up here. We always use the little back button that's based in the system for us. Just makes it a little bit easier. Okay. So once we've made the selection, okay, this is the right cruise for that passenger. We just make the selection on the little dot, and then we go down to the bottom and we hit the little save and continue search parameter button. Okay. So once we're in there, you'll notice it'll come up with our fare selection. Okay. And what it's doing is it's giving us the best price available for each of the different cabins and the different numbers. You'll notice that the numbers that we spoke about before, like the 74 and the 7As, they reflect back here again too. So using your deck plan, again, you'll be able to know which part of the ship and whereabouts that particular area is. If your Polar comes up looking like this, where most of the time you'll generally see just prices in this particular section right here, there is the occasion where you will see what we call a group pricing, which is pricing appears in this particular panel. And as I mentioned before, talking about the Select Sailing, and that's my Select Sailing module, which you can watch again, that'll go in a bit more detail about the Select Sailing and the group rates. But just for now, when you're looking at these particular sailings and you're looking at the price difference, always book the cheapest fare. So whether it's the cheapest fares on this side of the book or this side, you just book the cheapest. There's no real difference here. What this is basically saying is there's some kind of form of onboard credit which again I explain in my select group sailings webinar. Okay, so if you're looking at some of the sailings, for example, most of them all seem to be cheaper than the one on the right, and that's fantastic. So we just book the ones on the left. Like I said, no difference, no different room type or anything. Very, very easy. So you can go to the bottom down here and you can see, so from the 4As, you'll see our 4 categories, all our inside rooms. So you can see the price there. That price is priced at per person for the cruise. However, it's just missing a couple of taxes and surcharges. So don't quote your customer on this price just yet until we go to the next screen. But you can generally see what the price is going for. 6A, I know, obviously been looking after Carnival, they're our ocean views, and then we get up to the rest of our balcony cabins, which we have a majority of. Okay, so if we're looking at a balcony cabin, for example, a 7A, that's a balcony obstructed cabin. Okay, so once we like the cabin we're after, we just go down here and we can click on Save and Continue. Okay, and that'll take us to the next screen. Now, this is the screen where we will quote from. If you have got 4 people, for example, and you're booking as a family, it'll then give you the option just under here, under the 2 adult names, to put the children's ages in. Now, always remember to put the children's ages in at time of traveling. Okay, so the day, how they are the day they leave on the ship. If they have a birthday while they're on the ship, put them on as the age that they are that they're leaving. Okay. Now, then you've got through, and you'll come through to this matrix here, and this matrix will basically give you a breakdown of all of the fare, how much it all is. It's very, very easy. So we've got the initial fare here. Now, this is pretty great to be able to see when you're talking to your customers, because this particular fare will give you what we call the brochure price. So that's $15.95 per person. And then it will then do it is it'll give you a discount. So a lot of times we're on sale, things like that. You'll see discounts at different times of the year. I used to always get in the general practice of saying to my customer, hey, look, it's usually, this particular price, $15.95. You're getting $500 off. That's a special I've managed to get you today. So it just helps with closing the sale. It then comes down and we give you the net fare. Okay? So we don't quote the net fare. We've then got taxes, fees, and port charges. Okay? We've then got the gross fare, how much the gross fare is, and then, of course, the NCFs. The NCFs are the non-commissionable parts of the booking. Okay, they're pretty standard, usually at about $200. So you'll see here when you get to the gross price, your gross price here of $2,338, that's now the price we can quote to the customer. So when we're talking to them, we'll say, hey, look, this is the price for you guys as a whole. Under here is an onboard credit section. So if you've accrued any onboard credit or if there's any particular sailings, just make sure you check the onboard credit down here. It'll say $100 or $50 or $200, depending what it is per person, and then it'll give you the total onboard credit in the total section. This particular cruise doesn't have any. However, you can see what that one there is. Okay, so the great thing about that is just to make sure you check that. Whenever quoting, always check this before quoting your customer how much onboard credit they're going to get. Okay, don't just presume that, if we've got a sale on, there's 400 OBC, which stands for onboard credit. Just make sure it's actually in the booking. Otherwise, you'll never come unstuck if it's in the booking. Very, very cool. Okay, under here is your payment. So we've got our deposit required. So our deposit in this particular chances is required at 8 February 2015. Now, the key thing to remember with cruising is always say to your customer, this is the price that I'm quoting you right now. Now, they can come back in an hour, 2 hours later, and the price can change. Okay, it all comes down to yield management and how quickly the ship's filling up. Of course, if it's filling quite quickly, then the price will then start to go up. So give them that option. Say, look, if I can lock this in right now for you and book it in at this price, then you can. Okay, you can hold it for 3 days until the 8th of Feb, and then, of course, you have to pay for it. You have to pay the deposit. Okay, what will then come up is the deposit. So it'll give you exactly how much the deposit is. So particularly when doing a group of 4, just make sure you check the deposit amount, and then you can see what you're getting. It'll tell you your net payment. It'll also tell you when your final payment's due. So your customer's got till the 5th of March to pay for that particular cruise in full. Okay, so looking next year, they can see when their dates are. So it's usually about 45 days prior to sailing. It's a good way to go by. And then finally, again, you've got the gross amount, which is the gross amount the customer pays. Just be very careful not to quote them the net, obviously, because then if you quote them the net, you're not making any commission on the booking. And on this side, you'll see your commissions. To make 10%, you're making $177.80 on that particular booking. So it's a really easy, quick way to make the booking. Okay. So once we get through here and the customer's happy, there's an option here where you can actually print a printer-friendly version as well with the itinerary. That's a really good thing to do. We just go down the bottom, we hit Save and Continue. Okay, once we hit Save and Continue, sometimes it gives us an option of an upgrade. It tells you how much it is, a couple of dollars per day to upgrade. Just keep an eye on that. It's a good little way to try and make a couple extra dollars in your pay packet at the end of the day. So just go Save and Continue at the bottom. Okay, and then what it will then do is it then give us a list of all the cabins that are available. Now, one of the really unique things about cruising as opposed to a lot of other hotel bookings is you can actually drill right down to which cabin you want, what part of the ship you want to go for. You know, and if you've got some friends traveling, you can try and, you know, get as close to them as possible. So you notice here it gives us a nice little spread of all the sailings right here. It'll give you, it'll tell you straight away what the cabin number is, so 5230. It'll then give you the location. So mid stands for midship, so the middle of the ship. You'll then see aft, which stands for the back of the ship or the afterwards of the ship. And then the other one you'll see, which is not here, will be fore, F-O-R-E, which stands for forward part of the ship, so the front of the ship. You'll then come down and you'll see port and star. Now they represent the sides of the ship. So you've got port and starboard for those that are nautically inclined. Really, really easy way to remember which side of the ship is which is, I've always found the best way is, you always ask how many letters are there in the word left. Okay, so there's 4 letters in the word left. How many letters in the word port? There's 4 letters in the word port. So your port side is on your left side of the ship. You can go one step further too. All your even cabin numbers are on your port side as well. So how many letters in the word even? 4. Okay, so there's 4 letters in the word even, 4 letters in the word port, 4 letters in the word left. So you can see exactly what they are. And then the other side, of course, is the ship is starboard. We'll also tell you what deck number it is as well. So it's deck 5. It's a balcony room as well. It'll tell you how big the balcony is in square feet. Okay, so you have to convert that to square meters for our customers here in Australia. Whether it's a wheelchair accessible room and whether, of course, the balcony interconnects as well. So try to avoid booking a balcony interconnection unless you, of course, want one because there's a door between the 2 cabins and it's a little bit thinner than the cabin wall. So try and put your customer, if you can, rather in a non-interconnecting room. Okay, you can also request the cabin number 2, so you can make the selection down here. And if the customer stayed, maybe they've cruised before and they really want the same cabin they've had before, you can request that particular cabin number. And the other option is you can put in, on the left hand, the closest available cabin. So if you've got some friends staying in 5234, for example, which is on the list, you can put in 5234, and it will give you the closest cabins to that particular cabin, which is really cool. So you can get as close to your family, your friends as you'd like. Okay, so we'll make the selection. Let's go 5236. So we'll go a port side cabin, middle of the ship. Once we've done that, we then go ahead and go continue. Okay, and it then brings us through to the actual booking stage. So in this particular booking stage, we've got to put our customer's details in. Okay, so you do if your customer had traveled before, all this information here would auto populate in here. So it does save you a little bit extra time. If they haven't, you can just put your customer's date of birth in and their details right here. So you can see there you've actually got to put 1982. So for myself, and then APR 1982, for example, you can put yourself as a booking. So Mark Richards. Okay, oops, sorry, that's middle name. Okay, and I can put my wife in as well. So, alrighty, and you can put in your ages as well. So you put in the age of time of travelling, say 32, okay, and 32 as well. Alright, okay, so once you've done that, you can click no middle name. You have to put the middle name in if you don't want to. You then go down here where it says dining and bedding request as well. So this is a really good option. This gives you a seating requirement for your particular particular dining time. So with Carnival, we have 3 different dining times. The first one is between 5:30 at 5:30. That's your first dining time. And that goes to about 7:30. Okay, so if you pick a particular dining time, it means every single night you go to the restaurant, your table is waiting for you. It's your table. It's the same waiters, the same people on your table. and you've got a particular time that you can go to. So that's an early dining. Really good for the families, the early dining. You don't have to rock up right on 5:30. Look, you can rock up on 6:15, for example, and your table will be waiting for you. You then got a late dining of 7:45, and that's obviously, of course, the later dining till about 9:30. The restaurant's generally open till. And then you've got a your time dining. And what your time dining means is that you don't particularly pick a time. It means you can rock up to the dining room any particular time you want, and they'll seat you in a particular area. It might be a different part, or you might be with different people, or you might be on your own. It all depends. However, you sometimes do have to wait maybe 10 minutes for a table to become free, and then you go into the dining room. Depends on what time, of course, you go to the dining. Okay, so I'm going to go late dining for me, and your table size will make a difference, and then of course your ship bedding configuration. So if you've got two friends traveling together, you can select a twin. However, if you've got a couple wanting to king, you can then select a king. Every one of our beds is either a king or a twin. It's fantastic. Okay. Then finally, you've got to travel. This is called a create a new twin, and you don't need to know this. Everyone needs to know this all the time, but basically what TWID stands for, it stands for travel with ID. And what travel with ID means is that you can create a number, a particularly unique number, and if anybody else who books down the track that wants to be part of your group, they can quote that number, and then you'll be linked together in the same dining and have the same table and things like that. Okay. And finally, you've got a decline order upgrade. I cannot express how important this particular section right here is. Now, if your customers like myself and, for example, my wife, we don't mind if we get upgraded. We could get upgraded to another deck or anywhere else on the ship. We can just leave that alone, okay, and we can be upgraded. However, if you do have two families traveling together and they're in cabins side by side, remember, it is very, very important that you tick this, because you do not want you've got mum and dad and two kids traveling, and the kids get the upgrade and they move 5 decks away from mum and dad. It just creates all sorts of dramas. So just make sure you're very paramount in ticking that particular box when you're in there. And then finally, you just put your phone number in there, okay, which is you can put in there. Okay, that's the passenger's number as well. Okay, once we've done that, we then go through and hit the book button. Okay, it'll then create a booking. Okay, so it'll say right now the booking's now be completed. It'll also give you up the top up here. You'll see a booking number. Very important to write that booking number down. Charlie Whiskey Mike Quebec Hotel Kilo is my booking number. It'll give me all my information I need right here, what category I'm in, my seating arrangements, all that information, who the passengers are, the fact that our ship's in Australian dollars, okay, and it'll give you a full breakdown down here as well, okay. Once you've made that booking, you then go into your system and you make payment of the Polar, of the particular booking, and then it will confirm to a booking, okay. So until then, we're just holding this at the moment. As I mentioned, we'll hold it for 3 days, and then the booking will then, you know, of course, it will disappear out of the system, okay. So just make sure you're aware of that, okay. If you do want to go through and make a practice booking like I have, and you want to cancel it, we just click on the little booking information button down the bottom down here, okay. We then click up here where it says cancel booking. I'm going to go cancel. It asks you for your reason for cancelling. I'm just going to put down, always put what it is. I'll put down other. Cancel booking. It'll ask me again, I assure you want to come and cancel, and I'll go yes, cancel. And then once you hit cancel, it'll then cancel the booking, and you can see there the booking's been cancelled, status cancelled, so it's no longer in the system anymore. So that is how you do Polar. It's a very, very easy system. It works across all brands, so you can use the same booking system for P&O and also Princess as well, so it's an easy tutorial to follow. However, if you need anything else Carnival related, all my details on the YouTube channel there as well. I am Mark Richards. I'm the Queensland Sales Manager, and happy to answer any questions. Should you need anything, please feel free to give me a call. Good luck out there. Cruise is a fantastic industry at the moment, and having a really, really simple system like that does make a huge difference. Remember to watch some other videos. I'm going to have, like as I mentioned, how to make a select sailing, also how to set up cruise sales, and finally Polar more advanced session as well is on there. So make sure you have it when you get a chance to watch those. So thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the